Hello everybody, it's Rick. It is March the 5th, 2022. Sorry I've been away for a while, but I had experiencing some problems with the software to make videos. Forget about it. It took a while. Going back and forth with emails with the software provider. You know, it's amazing how somehow my computer, they unchecks access to my computer for the software to use my webcam. So every time I tried to make a video, it would freeze up. It was a mess. Anyway, finally got it running last night. Anyway, okay, where the hell is my mouse? Here it is. All right, so this is who I am. I'm Rick. My email is rick0327@me.com. Alright, guys, I only have paperwork to file in court for child support, and as part of the paperwork is to send to the child support agency to demand proof of a debt, also to tell them that you're not consenting for their services. Child support is a service. It's all a big scam. The whole setup. When you walk into the court is actually being rented by the child support agency, the state agency administering the state plan for the Title 4D. So everybody in that room, they're contracted out. So they're being paid by the child support agency. So that includes the fake judge. They created these elaborate positions, you know, support magistrate, friend of the court, you know, all kinds of names, and it's all they're nothing but administrators, and their job is to make you feel like that you have to pay child support. You must listen to them. It's all a big scam. It's a giant scam. It's a money-making scam for the state. It creates a lot of jobs, and it's nothing but a contract. Okay. All right, here's another thing, guys. I don't have paperwork for custody issues. I don't deal with child protective services. I don't have paperwork for divorce issues. Okay, it's just child support. I don't have paperwork for, you know, traffic court, none of that stuff. If you've been in jail, no, I don't have paperwork for any of that stuff. I just stick to the child support. Okay, so, all right. So, child support is a service and requires your signature for consent to make it a valid contract. Also, just want to say thanks to a couple of people out there that send me information through emails. One guy is Gary W. You know who you are. Thanks for the information you send me. He sends me a lot of good stuff. He's up all night doing research. He sends me emails all the time. A lot of good stuff. Anyway, the best thing to do is not go to court or appear on video conference. And what they do is they use intimidation and coercion to make you show up. Okay, so the best thing to do is respond in writing if you can. Okay, I'm not I don't believe that you should not respond. I think you should respond in writing first. Try and get a response from them, and then if you have to appear inside the building or for a Zoom, your response should just be, "I don't consent," and I'm resting on my notices that I filed. Okay, so that's what you should do. Okay, it's not a big secret, and although some court actors, judges, all them, you know, administrators, they don't have any authority over you. Okay, you must understand that no one has authority over you. You're a supreme being. You're a human being. You're a man. You're a woman. They don't want you to notice, and then they try and mock you and make fun of you if you to say that. But don't let them get away with it. Okay. Do not give consent and give them power. Okay. Always answer, "I do not understand" and "I do not consent." A common response also when people say, I choose to remain silent under the Fifth Amendment. The standard response always is, this is not a criminal matter, you cannot do it. That's bullshit. Okay? It doesn't have to be a criminal matter for you to remain silent. The best thing you can do is remain silent. The only time you should speak is to say, I don't consent, I do not understand. And if they claim that they're going to, put in a response for you or whatever, you threaten them and say you're committing a crime of forced labor. Okay? Let me show you proof here. On page 10 of the Section 8 of the Federal Child Support Enforcement Program reveals that child support enforcement is a service. And if it's a service, it requires an agreement. No one can force you to take a service. So that's why they need your consent. So they use these psychological tactics to get you to respond. Okay? So I just told you child support is a service. Proof that child support is a service can be found on the Child Support Agency website. Okay? Like right here. This is this is just a screenshot I took from York County, Pennsylvania. Okay? And the domestic relations section, in this section, the domestic relations section is the agency in York County responsible for all matters involving the establishment of paternity for children born outside of marriage. Services provided. So there you go. Establish a paternity support order. That's a service. It's not a law, it's a service. So they need your consent. Okay? This is just a quick proof to show you it's a service. Okay? Anytime you request a service from a private corporation, you are entering into a service contract. And then you must comply with their rules and their bylaws and all that nonsense, all that child support stuff. They do that in New York. They're famous for that in New York with the Family Court Act. They act like everybody is bound by the Family Court Act. But meanwhile, it's always a certain people that are in family court. I used to go to family court. I noticed when I went to family court there was only black people and Hispanic people. I was one of the few white people there. So, you don't see any rich people in family court for child support. Yeah, so, again, child support is a service. And it's very important that you appear for them to get your consent to start the whole ball rolling. Okay? And what they do is they use psychological tactics to get you to appear. Threats of force, physical restraint. And these psychological tactics, they're consistent with 18 U.S. Code 1589, forced labor. Okay? I did a video on this a while ago. All right? Because a legal process is voluntary. It's called legal process. Okay, it's a process where your appearance is voluntary because it's part of the service. So the whole legal proceedings is you standing there or speaking to them, and the whole dog and pony show of them acting like it's a court. But it's a legal process, and it requires your consent, your voluntary appearance. So that's why, I told you in the beginning, always say, I do not consent. Always answer, I do not understand, I do not consent. What's the response I usually... I do not accept this offer to contract, and I do not consent to these proceedings. It is my understanding that my consent is needed to enter into agreement or agreement for services. My appearance today is not evidence nor proof of my intention to enter into a contractual agreement or accept services from the state or federal government. I am not submitting to the jurisdiction of the state. This appearance is under duress and coerced by intimidation and psychological tactics of sending a letter. Remember, you guys all received that letter where they threaten you with arrest or a suspension of your driver's license or a default judgment, and that is a psychological tactic to get you to appear. Okay? Remember, you are a man or a woman, so when they call you anything else, you immediately object and order the adjudicator, the administrator, the sport magistrate, friend of the court, you know, that whole thing. You tell them that you're a man or a woman. Don't let them call you an obligor, a debtor, a non-custodial parent. These are all tactics to change your status. Okay? So how can you be an obligor or a debtor unless you entered into an agreement? So they're presuming that you're an obligor already. So you must say to them, how can I be an obligor or a debtor if I didn't enter into an agreement? And if I did, show it to me. And here's another thing, guys. If you did, you didn't know. You were coerced. Any contract where you're coerced or tricked or manipulated it's a void contract. It's not valid. You can only enter into a contract when you're knowingly entering into it. You're not being tricked. Okay? Child support they use psychological tactics. They're brutal. I mean, trust me, I've been there. I'm not some guy that, who was making videos because I watched other videos. There are a lot of so-called experts out there who've never been inside of a court before. Okay? You really want to see, go back to my old videos from 6 years ago. You'll see me actually in court. You'll see me fighting these people. Okay? And when I started making these videos, I just did it. I just to document it. I didn't expect it to turn into what it is. And when I started making the videos, one day I opened up the letter from the court that I was walking around with. I didn't even open it for a few days. I had no idea. And I opened it up and I read it, and the judge, the family court judge, vacated the support order. Okay, so all my fighting, I got them to finally stop collecting child support. So it worked out good. I'm one of the few people that you can see on the internet that actually got a support order vacated. Okay, it wasn't a purge where I paid back some past due money and then they void out the support agreement for a purge amount. Anyway, that's something else. This here shows that your consent is needed. Okay, so when you go to court by not consenting, you're contesting the proceedings. All right, so this is Section 201 of the Uniform Interstate Family Court Support Act. Every state has one of these. Okay, it's the state version is just basically written the same way. Okay, and the individual submits to the jurisdiction of this state by consent in a record, by entering a general appearance, or by filing a responsive document having the effect of waiving any contest to personal jurisdiction. So that's the reason why in the response documents you must say you are not consenting. They have no answers for this. Okay, a lot of times they don't like to answer this. But right here, this is the proof right here. Section 201, basis for jurisdiction over non-resident. You're not a non-resident, by the way. All right? You live in a state. You're a living man or woman that lives in a state. And in every state, with a small s, by the way, they have territorial boundaries. Okay? A non-resident for the United States is the United States is a corporation located inside Washington, D.C. Okay? You are not an employee. Here's another thing. You're not an employee for the federal government or living within the federal territories. All right, the federal territories are District of Columbia, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, Guam. Okay, that's the only places where that's the location of the state with the big S. You'll notice that the state's always spelled with a capital S. All right. So when you are a man or a woman living within a state with territorial boundaries, you are protected by the Bill of Rights. Okay, the Bill of Rights was ratified December 15th, 1791. That is the law of the land, by the way, not the Constitution. The Bill of Rights. Okay, your freedom of speech, right to remain silent, Fourth Amendment. They cannot take your property without a warrant. All right? You can read this on your own. This is about being a state national. Okay? Fraudulent misrepresentation. Under contract law, a plaintiff can recover compensatory damages against the defendant when the court finds that the defendant has committed fraudulent misrepresentation. Okay? You can make, if you want, you can put together a letter, send it to the state attorney general, county sheriff, county district attorney, just to make noise that their fraudulent misrepresentation caused you to enter into a contract by using trickery. All right, now here's another thing. 42 U.S.C. Section 659 is proof that consent is required for child support enforcement. Okay? And they use 42 U.S.C. 666. Oh, let's say this or prior. Yeah, get 659, 42 U.S.C. 659, private person. This is the definition. A private person means a person who does not have sovereign or other special immunity. Okay, so this is proof that a man or woman has sovereign special immunity. This is why you don't ever want to let them call you obligor, debtor, sir, ma'am, person, because they're all dead entities. They only exist on paper. You as a man or a woman, you're a living, breathing, with blood flowing through. You're a living man or woman with, again, they touch you, they cut you, you bleed. On paper, a person doesn't bleed, doesn't exist. Okay, trust me. In contract law is really, they depend on you not knowing your rights as a man or a woman. So, you must stand as being a man. That's another reason why when you declare your sovereignty, their automatic response is to call you a sovereign citizen, and they cite some Court of Appeals decision where some tax protester claimed sovereignty, but they always rely on that case. I've seen it so many times, And your whole thing is you got to say, I never said that I was a sovereign citizen. I'm not, because you're not a citizen. You're a sovereign man or woman. Okay? You're not part of any political group. That's what being a citizen means. It means you're part of some political group. I'm not part of any political group. I'm just a man. That's all I am. Okay? So, let me move on. Just showing you real basics to understand why they use trickery. Here's more proof that its services, all right, parent or non-parent custodian applies for DCS services and enforcement services through income withholding garnishment. Also, garnishment is done through legal process. Okay, so when they use the legal process, you know, when you are tricked into participating in a legal process, and they issue an income withholding order, it's forced labor. You have to work in order to pay the support that is owed. They even tell that this is how sick these people are, that they'll tell you, the employer, that they're not allowed to fire you because they want the money. So you cannot be fired because they want that support agreement, that support payment from every check through income withholding. It's hilarious. Okay, this is more proof. You pay $25 for services. It's proof that it's a service agreement. All right. If you have my paperwork, number 5 says you refuse to consent. The undersigned refuses to consent to participate in a legal process, and thereby this affidavit is physical evidence of proof to show to the judicial and law enforcement authorities that the undersigned did contest personal jurisdiction. That way they can't say that you consented. Okay, legal process means any writ, order, summons, or other similar process in the nature of garnishment. Legal process requires your consent. Okay, so all notifications for child support appearances, Zoom hearings, phone hearings are done under psychological threat of license suspension, warrant for arrest, default judgment resulting in the freezing of your bank account. Okay, some places like New York's out of control. And as soon as usually, let's say, the mother goes and files a petition, which is really an application. They even change the words around. That's this part of the scam. They'll take, they call it a petition, but it's really an application for child support. And they get as much information as they can out of the mother. And they immediately start sending it to your employer before you even have a hearing. It's insane how out of control they are in New York. Okay, child support relies on your ignorance of law. Again, I do not accept this offer to contract and do not consent to these proceedings. Just keep saying that. Then you're going to ask, did you get my paperwork? Are you going to respond in writing to my paperwork? They don't like to, they'll say, yeah, I'll get to it. No, I want you to get to it right now. Okay, this is a definition of a contract. Read it. Okay. All right, so remember I told you they're all contractors. 42 U.S.C. section 654, subsection 7 is proof. Judges, clerks, and court officers and deputies are child support contractors. Okay? They provide for entering into cooperative arrangements with appropriate court and law enforcement officials to assist the agency administering the plan, including the entering into a financial arrangement with such courts and officials in order to assure optimum results under such program. Optimum results is getting as much money as they can from you. okay, to get you to trick the non-custodial parent, the father usually, to submit to the program. Okay, trust me, that's one of the reasons why the court officer, the sheriff deputy is there with the gun to intimidate you. That's all part of the plan. I had my battles with those guys too. Ugh. Okay, again, I do not consent to participate in legal process. Okay, you demand to see evidence of your signature on a contract. Just keep saying that. Where's my signature? I didn't. When did I enter into a contract with you people? Okay, give notification to child support hearing administrator and child support agency that forced participation in legal process is a crime of forced labor, and failure to answer is proof of the facts. And then what you can do is send a letter, an affidavit, to the state attorney general, to all law enforcement, to show that you were tricked into participating and you're a victim of forced labor. Okay? Alright, so that's basically it for now. Okay, just, I'm still rusty I haven't made videos in a while. I'm still kind of rusty, so just bear with me, please. Alright, this here is these are the child support agency affidavits that I provide. This is just that one folder. I also have these are court affidavits to file. There's a whole bunch of these. I provide a lot of paperwork, okay, for a gift. My gift is under $200. It's not a lot of money. I could get a lot more money, but again, I'm trying to help people. Okay, I don't make any guarantees, guys. I cannot make a guarantee. All right. I don't hold your hand. I don't, pick out paperwork for you. Okay, I don't have, I used to do that stuff years ago. It just got too much on me and my health. It's very stressful dealing with these people. They're criminals. This is a criminal conspiracy. Trust me when I tell you. It's nothing but a scam. Okay? I don't know if you realize what's going on in the world today. The world is crazy right now. Alright? But, I'll show you. Here's one affidavit, It'll open up in a second, I hope. Take notice to cease and desist using psychological tactics of threatening arrest and suspension of driver's license to force the undersigned to participate in a legal process. Okay? Alright, so, and this is what usually happens when I show stuff like this. People out there are like, Rick, I got your paperwork, but I don't have that affidavit. Okay? Write it down. Type it out. Make your own. That's all you got to do. See, I'm showing it here. And add it to the existing paperwork that you got. I got people out there like, got my paperwork from years ago, and they're like, oh, Rick, I don't have that. I mean, my paperwork is constantly evolving, constantly changing it, okay? This shows you all the different affidavits that I have. So, I mean, here you got 9. I mean, this is 21 affidavits right here. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not even going to count all of them. It's a lot. All right, so you're getting. I'm putting you in the best position possible to fight these people. Trust me. You get. And by the way, my court affidavits can be, they're acceptable in every court in every state. They're typed on pleading paperwork. Yes, the number, other thing. People are like, Rick, why are there numbers on the side of the numbers are there for a reason. That way you could say on page 2, line 10 says this. That's the reason why there are numbers on the paperwork. Okay? There's no mistakes. And here's another thing. Even in some of my paperwork, there are some mistakes done on purpose. I might have spelled a word wrong on purpose. Because you don't want them to think these are boilerplate, meaning that it's paperwork that's passed all around the internet and you're submitting it. You don't want these people to know. You want them to think that you typed this up yourself. Okay? So again, if you need my paperwork, just reach out to my email address, rick0327@me.com. Okay? Alright, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.